on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was
No, I
working
don't think
together
so.
The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone
I mean,
else carry
you're
out a
right.
murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous.
We
about this,
kind of
did we
did,
not?
and it does seem stupid, but there must have been a reason. There must have been one reason. Yeah, this is exactly the same, so it's not gonna be here.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out
Only
the
one who
act
actually carried out the act
can
can graduate,
and
so the
survive.
mastermind,
Assuming
basically.
the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
I don't think it's impossible, though.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right?
Yeah, exactly, if there's only
In
one
this
murder.
case, however, there were two murders.
Based on
So
the
it's
rules
not
that have
impossible.
been laid out for us, even if more than one person, only the one who actually
Okay,
carried
can
out
you
the
please say
act
impossible
can
once again?
graduate, assuming the rule holds
Thank you. There were two murders, so it's not impossible. If two people murder one person each at the same time,
Since there were two
or
murders,
in the same period of
it's at least
time,
plausible that more than one person
Yes.
was involved. What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally,
Exactly.
if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward
exactly.
benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme.
If only one person is killed by one person, then the other person still dies if the other person is saved, right? So they must have had to kill someone, and then the other person must have planned to kill the other person.
Then cooperation becomes possible.
Exactly.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's
Yes.
what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And
they would both be blackened.
Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry
I
out
do
the
believe
first
so. He
murder
did have a
and
grudge
came
on him
back out
too.
helping them
So,
later on.
even though we don't discuss it here, he has motive.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A
It seems
single
like it.
suspicious individual, a similar
That could be very
weapon used in
dangerous.
each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no
So then-
accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
It does seem so. It does seem so.
Just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
When it comes to killing, I think if you're set on doing it,
Still, their choice
there's
of
just
accomplice
nothing that you wouldn't be
seems
able to do
odd.
at that point. Yes. She must have. She's very, very perceptive. Indeed. Because they were separate incidents. Almost too amazing. Come on, Makoto, don't start doubting her now. Come on.
I
Jeez,
understand
Makoto.
how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
Exactly. In the end, they murdered him. Yes. Unfortunately enough, your behavior up until this point is what sealed it.
Here's my answer.
Celeste,
It was Celeste.
it has to have been you.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
Well,
I really do hate this kind of joke.
it's no joke,
I
unfortunately.
wonder.
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to
Yes.
work together with Hifumi.
You were able
The idea that I would
You
choose
were able to
spend
talk down to
any amount of
Hifumi and he
time
would do your
interacting with
bidding
him,
whenever.
that I would go within 10 feet of that shit.
Oh god.
That lazy, worthless, goddamn
Oh god.
idiot. Pardon.
Just to be clear, there is evidence. to
Yes, there
support
is.
Is that so?
It is.
Yes, there is.
Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
You are the only ones who actually
Considering
see
what we've
Robo
learned so
Justice.
far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Yes.
I got it.
You were the only ones that were actually able to
Behavior
see
they had
it.
in common has to do
The
with
suspicious individual.
individual
Every
in the
single
suit.
time it was you who
Definitely.
screamed. Every single time it was you who
The
saw
only
the
ones who ever
weird figure
actually
moving
saw
around.
Robo Justice firsthand
You were the one who
were
took the
Celeste
photograph and Hifumi was the one being attacked. It was only you
Shush.
two and we
The
never
adults
saw
are talking
them
now.
until we found Hiro.
Sorry.
As he said,
Excuse you?
only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but
Yes.
suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us
Mhm.
was a lie?
That is what we're saying.
After taking Hifumi to the
Unfortunately.
nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too
That is
long
actually
after
correct.
that, do you remember what Celeste said?
She saw the shadow.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed
Mhm.
to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the
Then
third
she
floor,
once again said that she saw the
She
figure
let out a
moving, right?
blood-curdling scream.
Uh-huh.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Indeed. The strange costume man.
Once she'd done her job of getting us
Mhm.
all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Which is why Hifumi screamed, right? He used that time to get the blood on him and feign being attacked. Yes.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact,
And that
Celeste
would
was
just
precisely
confuse
the one who
us, right?
proposed that we split up.
Mhm. Oh, that's right. Splitting up was her idea.
If Celeste
And
and Hifumi were working together, all those
It's
chance
just too
events
much of a
suddenly become
coincidence to
connected.
be a coincidence, you know?
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
That's pretty uncharacteristic of you.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor. Everything's going according to plan.
Hmm.
Why else would you let
It-
out a scream
it
that
seems
could have
that way.
carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
She just wrote it off as murder.
Celeste, you were the first
Yes.
one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
That's correct.
I don't believe it! Everything, the whole thing was one big act!
Hina,
One
you
big
were with
act.
Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah? I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom.
And she took you to the bathroom so that Hifumi, yes,
She wasn't
so that
worried
Hifumi
about
could
you.
get out.
She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and
Yeah.
the picture gets very
A
ugly.
very, very ugly picture.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
Why though, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it.
I agree with Byakuya, just make it easier for us, please.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
Oh no. Yes, that's right. She did slip up.
I'm
At one
talking
point.
about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
She didn't know that Taka... She wasn't supposed to know that Taka was dead. Yes. Frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. Just like those guys. Plural. And she wasn't supposed to know because we told them afterwards.
Too, but I don't understand what's
Yes.
so strange about it.
At that point, you knew, Sakura, that there were
Sakura,
two.
Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's
Exactly.
body in the equipment
And at
room.
that point, Sakura, Toku, Byakuya,
Makoto
and
showed up and
Makoto
told
were
us
the only ones to
Hifumi
know
had
that there were
been
two
killed.
people that were
So
murdered.
Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall,
Yes.
we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now,
But we
the
didn't
entire
mention it.
time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was
Exactly. Completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
So you don't see what he's talking about.
Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really
Oh,
not
no.
the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
It doesn't. At that time, she wasn't supposed to know that Taka was dead, but she knew. Celeste's account? No, that's just a thing.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here.
We're all going to die
We
here.
are going to die, just like
Those
those
guys.
guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this.
Yes.
Obvious, isn't it? What was so
Indeed.
strange about Celeste's comment?
She shouldn't have known.
All I said was they must
She
really
should not have
enjoying
known.
the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die.
Just like
No,
Just like those guys. That is the strangest thing, because you did not know that Taka was dead.
that's
Just
right.
like Mondo, it was
There's
just
no
a slip of the
reason
tongue.
Celeste should have said, just like those guys
Except this
died.
was the slip of the tongue that we actually
When she said that,
that we
none of
actually
us had
used
told her
and
Taka
knew.
was dead.
exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was
And
never any chance
if it
that
was
we would
just
see
like
his
she
body
got
in the
confused
equipment room
and used
for
plural
herself.
instead of singular, then when she repeated it, she would have
So
said
how
it
did you
like
know,
normal.
Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
Yes.
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Yeah.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imagine.
No, you're straying on.
You
You're
claim that I was
you're straying
lying
off
when
topic.
I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took?
You are misleading us right now. No, I think we can write that off as false as well.
Costumed villain dragging Hifumi away.
I think
It has
that
to
was
be some
staged.
kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on.
Yes.
And
Celeste could not have put the suit on. I think either it was you when you were asleep or it was empty.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into
Again,
that suit.
she's so scary. when she's like that.
Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the
Yeah, I
suspect
think it's a
dragging
picture of
away?
Hifumi dragging the
What
costume.
could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
Yes.
No.
Yes, indeed.
There is no other explanation.
You're simply saying there's no explanations just so that we cannot explain it away. As long as you have that picture, you have an alibi. But if we destroy the alibi properties of the picture, then your alibi is gone. So Hifumi and Hifumi is dragging the suspect
It's
away.
not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi
Exactly,
away.
it's the other way around.
I would say it's a picture of Hifumi
Oh, sorry about
dragging
that.
the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
The one being dragged
He looks
off that
tired,
picture isn't
more than what he
Hifumi,
looks
but the
stressed.
person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to
Mhm.
believe that it's the other way around.
Hero was
And
lured
strange
into the rec room
costume
after
might
all.
only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
What
Yes.
happened? You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this.
They did.
Such a thing is utterly impossible.
Why would you say that?
Dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think it's ridiculous at all.
Exactly. I agree with Kyoko
Allow
wholeheartedly.
me to educate you.
Oh my god. I actually think that you're starting to lose it a little bit too much, Celeste. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Dressed me up
let's
in
see what
that
we can
suit
use.
After I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like
Yes,
I
I think that's what happened.
ridiculous.
Not
As you can
ridiculous
see
at all.
in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright.
Oh,
If the
let me see this in the blueprints. See if it's in the blueprints. Have the arms been like this? That's the only thing, right? So it's not
person
that.
inside the suit was unconscious.
Robo Justice costume.
There's no way they could stand up straight like that.
They can't bend. If they cannot bend, even if they are unconscious, they would be forced to stand upright. Celeste,
No.
Please
Even
stop.
if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that.
please stop.
Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You did. Not only was it a pretty obvious oversight, it also was an undoing.
That's right. They totally made a mistake when they made
Except,
it.
I don't
so
think it
couldn't
was a
bend at the
mistake.
waist.
It was done on purpose so that they could take the
I'm
picture.
not so sure that was a mistake.
Yes. It was
I
done on
think the
purpose.
suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste
Oh.
and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to
That
fake
makes sense.
that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
I do believe so.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Yes. Yes. It is pretty obvious at this point, Celeste. Just please stop.
Don't make me look like an idiot. What do you mean,
Whoa.
checkmate?
It
Celeste?
means you lose.
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
We did make the correct thing. Hina asked the correct one. Who killed him? Their name. Yasuhiro. That is confusing.
Who had attacked him? His answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote,
Jeez, your voice.
Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
I don't think we really knew that, though.
You're only making things more complicated.
Exactly.
He did
Just
say
shut up,
Yasuhiro.
Taro.
But are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, Hifumi had a little peculiarity, though.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
The only time that he actually referred to someone else by their name was when he was begging for help. But he said people's last names. He always referred to us as Mr.
Our
Neigi.
last names. He called us all by our last names.
Exactly. I know I heard him say
Yes.
Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if the
Indeed.
did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
It would have been Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
No.
Random
No.
chance.
It probably doesn't make sense to us, but in Japan, speaking to someone about to someone by their first name is a little bit of an indecent thing when you are not close to that person.
But he must
It
have
it
run out of energy
it,
before
it
saying
implicates
more.
closeness in between people when they do that.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he
Yes.
said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Nobody that we know is
Well, no.
has last name
Hold on.
Yasuhiro. So,
There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste.
but we only know
She
Celeste
never
as
actually
Celeste.
told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far,
Well,
I don't
you keep
know
saying that
whether
your
the
name
word
is Celestia
was spent.
Ludenberg, but
Come on! Enough with your idiotic
Oh.
blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do
well, right
I?
now
What?
you do.
I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes
You're
are
gonna say
wide
Celestia Ludenberg again,
open
right?
And listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
But you're Japanese, right? Well, we have another means to know your name. And it's painful to do it, too. But remember what Kyoko said? That the e-handbook would be used in this trial as well?
He was trying to tell us something.
Unfortunately,
He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
yes,
If there's
Yasuhiro.
one person here who might have that last name.
It would have to be you, Celeste.
It would have
You
to be
haven't
Celeste.
told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Man, this is also hard. Every single time. They just make it hard.
God damn it!
How long do you plan?
I like how it was, like, flipped.
I'm not pretending. It's the
No,
truth.
you are pretending that it is the truth.
You have no way to
No way to
contradict
contradict me. I'm sorry, but we do. You have your e-handbook with you, right? Your real name has to be there. If your e-handbook says Celestia Ludenberg, then fine, we made a mistake.
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name
Yes.
when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
Yes. We are kind of relying a little bit too much on Monokuma's things, but it is true. It will display your name.
So all we have to do
Gosh.
is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out
Yeah.
Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy.
Invasion of privacy.
I
If you refuse, then we're just gonna assume that it was you.
Celeste, Can you please just tell us what really happened? Please.
Please.
Just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because
But you're in checkmate at this point.
because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then.
The
Let me
fact
settle
is,
it. Let me go over the case
when you refuse to cooperate,
and shed
put
light
yourself
on
in
all your
checkmate.
crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Time for the thing. Alright. In this case, how did the killer recruit their accomplice? Was it seduction? Not exactly seduction, I think. Nope. Alright, we can get to that later. What time did the killers call their victim to the rec room? To the rec room, it was 1. This is 6. Can we get... Okay, yes, at 1. Who was it the killer summoned first? Well, we can see it down there. It was Yasuhiro. They stuffed it in. They knocked him out, stuffed in the Robo Justice suit to falsify their evidence, and they used a certain item to do it. It was the camera. Then we had Super Taka Kyondo. Taka was supposed to be there with his wristwatch at 6. Hifumi killed Taka, and the Justy Hammer that was used to kill Taka was number 4. So that was used to confuse us. Then the library, Hifumi used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. It was the Justice Hammer number 2. To the nurse's office, he went all out, used all the blood, which Justice Hammer was used in the nurse's office when Hifumi was pretending to be dead. That's Justice Hammer number 3. We were here, and we discovered both the bodies at the same time. Then Hifumi moved up and went on to wrap Taka in the tarp, and then used the dolly to move him over to the repository. He was so happy it was being useful, and then he came all the way here. The weapon the killer used to murder Hifumi was the other hammer over here. The other, no, that's over there. This hammer over there. And now, if we come all the way back to the beginning, we can't get there fast enough. Okay, the first one was, how was he recruited, right? So, we know that this is in there, we know that this is in there, so that's not it. Probably this one is the one, because apart from that, I don't think there's any other piece that we haven't yet used. So, let's reenact it.
You! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was...
This was really convoluted, man.
Hifumi. With an accomplice,
Mm-hmm.
the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes.
It was just for 2 people. At 1 AM.
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
It was Yasuhiro Hagakure.
That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo.
And he was chloroformed.
So when they met up with him,
Yes.
they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo Justice suit.
Then took a picture.
Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo Justice.
If the picture actually looked like that, then I would buy it a little bit more.
The killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault.
It was just way too convenient, you know, that you remembered you had the camera at that point.
Evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him,
Yes.
they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker.
Which is, I mean, because the pool was not involved with the incident at all,
They moved
no
into
one would
the
have thought
murder
to look in there.
They called
Like, it
Taka
wasn't
to the
really
equipment
connected at all. Jeez, the freaking look on that. But he did have a grudge against Taka, so
room. And
makes
that's
sense
where
that Hifumi would kill him.
making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer
Justice
4,
Hammer number
which
4.
was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes.
Not only was the crime very convoluted, but the pieces that they used must have taken out a lot of work.
For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident
Indeed.
was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers
The
wanted
attack
us to
against
see
Celeste.
Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to
Indeed.
make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story.
And the injured
With these
Hifumi
two
was
incidents,
just
the
used
killers were able to create
at that
a
point.
certain preconception
It's
in
kind
their
of sad
minds
also because Hifumi had absolutely no
that the
clue that he was
suspect
just being
increasing
played
the size
all
of
that
the
time.
hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But
Yeah. It's kind of weird how they didn't put any of the pictures up when they were talking about that
alone in
stuff.
the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. From the refrigerator and
Secret
Justice
attack!
Hammer 3
Pouring blood all over my body and around myself!
crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered.
Indeed. Which is sick in and of itself.
He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time.
I really like the way that they
Heard the
drew
body
Sakura in that one.
discovery announcement.
She looks really, really
Naturally
well
assumed
defined in
it
that
was
one.
for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office. And Hifumi
Act
once
6.
again
Like I said, this incident was extremely convoluted. It's kind of dumb, to be honest. It's kind of stupid the way that it was so convoluted, just because it was like, well, we first did this and then we did this, but then this happened, but then this happened, but then this happened, but then this happened, and we were misled to this. And then this happened and we were misled to this other thing, and then this other thing happened, but this happened in the meantime. It's just so weird and convoluted. Kind of unnecessarily so.
He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That
All the
explains
way
how
down.
Each of the bodies disappeared.
Indeed.
Freaking
Freaking
didn't
Hifumi.
know what the true killer had in mind for their final act.
For their final act, treason was on the menu.
Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary,
Which is what they
everyday
did
hammer
ultimately.
from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
It has to be. There's no other person that could. Kind of weird and poetic how they crossed paths over there, but it has to have been Celeste. There's no other person that could.
Celeste. Sorry. You
Ooh,
lose.
that stings. That must sting, especially to the ultimate gambler.
I lost.
Danganronpa.